Live from Kauai, it is Thursday live lesson. Hi, my name is Aldrine Guerrero. I'm joined by Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And I'm joined also by Mr. Kahai, the legend Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
The trio is here. We're about to answer any and all of your questions. How this works is you guys send us questions. We try to answer them as best as we can. We are live, so I have my ukulele in front of me. Any kind of question that I can answer using my ukulele, I will show you folks. And we can make discussions and talk about all things ukulele. I don't know if we really put this out there, but how can they reach us, Kai? If they want to ask us a question, say for the non-UU Plus members, if they're listening to this on the iTunes podcast, how can they send us a question?
Probably through questions at ukuleleunderground.com.
Okay, so we'll be a little bit more prominent at directing all the questions that you guys can ask us. So
we have like a thing on screen right now, but if you're listening,
yeah, exactly, iTunes. As I mentioned, this is a podcast on iTunes that you guys can download. But if you're a part of UU Plus, which if you're not, I don't know why not, because it's the best way to take your ukulele playing to the next level. UU Plus subscribers can watch this live, so you guys can see all the things that I'm doing in my ukulele and get a clearer explanation of all the answers to the questions. So without further a juju. I don't know where my mind is today. I had too much sleep. Is that possible? I got too much sleep last night. Without further ado, let's get down to the questions. Kahai.
So Yoda, like very quickly, we could answer this. Yoda asks, "Is everyone safe and dry?"
Okay, so what Yoda is referring to this past weekend here on Kauai, we had some massive floods. We had a rain, a very heavy thunder, like lightning storm. It was crazy, and it affected mostly the northern and the northern part of Kauai. And there's like homes were devastated. There's like flooding everywhere. There's flooding damages and whatnot. And our friends and families were all affected, and all our friends and family in the North Shore, and I think Kauai is a very strong community, and the day that it happened, or the morning after, there's already people going out, like collecting water and like collecting all supplies and stuff to give to the people who need it. There's been like rescue helicopters that's been going on. They've been doing some cleanup efforts, so Kauai is gonna come back stronger than ever before. I've experienced Hurricane Iniki back in 1992, and it's just kind of reminiscent of that, and it's just kind of wonderful how amazing the Kauai community really is. And whenever we're in times of need, we come together as a community and we get stronger, and we overcome anything that kind of comes in our way. So for those of you folks who want to donate or put in any kind of efforts, check out County of Kauai over on Facebook. I think they're doing stuff there, and if you live on Kauai, there's various places. I've gone to Hot Coffee Bar, and I've given them some water to give to the families who are affected, and I'm sure there's lots of other stations. You know any other stations, Aaron? Hot Coffee's one that I know. This one that I went to. yeah. But the things they don't need, I think beds, blankets, and towels. I don't think they need that, but they need everything else, like water, toiletries, and whatnot. I think baby wipes and baby food and whatnot, because the Honolulu Bridge is down, so people from the North Shore can't really get out of there unless they have to be helicoptered over and stuff. It's some crazy damages. There's like bison loose everywhere. It's kind of crazy. Like, what year is it? There's like some paniolas trying to round up all the bison. It's insane.
My mom showed me that picture, and I was like, "No, this is Photoshop." She's like, "No, this is real."
It's a buffalo.
I'm like, "What?"
Out on the reef.
I was like,
They got swept down the river and out into the ocean.
It's pretty insane. There's like something like 80, like 60 or 80 of them that got out and stuff. It's an insane number. I didn't even know we had buffaloes on Kauai or bisons and stuff. But thanks for your concern. We will get back, and we will be stronger than ever. I got a little flooding in my house. I live in the east side. I got a little flooding in my house, but I'm fine. My things are okay. My family's fine. Our bedroom does have carpet. It got to the bedroom. We dried it out. I think we're gonna have some carpet cleaners come in and just clean the carpet, just so that there's no mildew or anything like that we can breathe in. But other than that, there's really no damages. You guys?
I
don't want to speak for the boys, so.
No, our house is okay. My grandma's house was like flooded a little bit, and then the day that it happened, like my house lost power for like 12 hours. So it was like that, and only that part of our house, or like that, only our neighborhood lost power. So I don't know. Yeah.
What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You live down the road from me.
Yeah, but my house is not built
on
the ground.
So what you know, like I guess people won't even say. I'll try to paint a picture. Like I live in a in a place where there's like 3 houses on a lot. So my house is pretty close to the other, to the house in the back, right? So there's a house in the front, my house in the middle, and there's another house like in the back of the lot. Now we're pretty close to that back house, and his roof is kind of going this way. So all the water that went on his roof, like kind of went down, and like it made this like basically got channeled, because the front part of my house has like cement, so it's not like it's gonna go down on the ground. It's just cement is gonna like drive it inside my house. And I just went in, and I woke up my wife. I'm like, Heather, like we're flooded in. And she's like, what is going on? And like in our years of living there, we've been living there for 6 years, and we've never experienced that kind of flooding. It's been insane.
If you ever been to Kauai, like you kind of know, like houses aren't planned out like the greatest ways. A lot of them are like older too, where they're just like, just make it like.
Well, some are. I mean, if you go to North Shore and stuff, you see a lot of houses like on stilts and stuff, just because they know that, it can happen. But even then, like I think the flooding was so bad that like it just did some structural damages and stuff.
Yeah, like there was like, I mean, like the river just like completely came in and rushed it all out.
Yeah, and then I heard like some of the south side was affected as well. I checked in with my mom, because my family, I was formerly from the south side in Koloa, but they're fine, so we're all good. But my Kevin's family, they live down the road from us, is like knee deep, like the water's knee deep. It's kind of crazy.
Kira called me like that, or Saturday morning, I think, and she's like, Kahai, what's going on? I can't get a hold of Mom. I don't know what's going on. Like, are you okay? I'm like, I just woke up. Like,
you should have like drank water.
Help.
No, it's a big joke. Like, sorry, I was drinking some water.
But she was like freaking out because like she saw pictures on Facebook, and that showed like pretty much the worst of it. And then, but like by our house, it was like, our lawn is a little flooded, but it's not too bad.
I was thinking like you should have photoshopped your mom on the bison, and sent it to your sister. Like, no, we're doing just fine.
Well, like my sister was like, what's happening? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, you're useless. What do you mean you don't know? And I was like, I can't. Our power is down. I can't get online. So you probably know more than me. Like,
because I mean, honestly, like I didn't even know like that the storm was that bad, because we get storms all the time, like, and rain, like heavy rains and stuff. It's the season, like springtime. If any of you folks are come to Kauai at all, you know that springtime is not the best time to come to Kauai, because it does rain.
Yeah.
And I don't want people's vacations to be ruined because like, I thought Kauai was like this magical place with beaches and stuff. Like, no, we get a lot of rain here. We have the wettest spot on earth up in Mount Waialeale.
It's called like the hurricane season too, kind of. It's like storm season. So
yeah. So next. So that's thank you for your concern. We're all good. Kauai will come back stronger.
So Angie asked or said, I'm confused about how you determine what chords are in any particular key. Say for instance the key of C. How do you determine what chords are associated with that key? I've been doing the essential chords series. Okay.
So we explained how to find chords in the key by using chord families. So there is a formula in figuring out what chords belong in what key. So in the key of C, for example, we have the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
And that's the scale.
And that's the scale. That's the C major scale. So the notes in that scale, once again, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, there's a formula that we can plug it in called the chord family. And in the formula for the chord family, if we were to number these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 4, and 5 are going to be major chords, and 2, 3, and 6 are going to be minor chords. So 1 being C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's your F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's being your G. So that means in the key of C, C, F, and G are going to be major chords. Now let's figure out the minor chords in our key of C. 1, 2, so D, so that'll be D minor. 1, 2, 3, E, so that's E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is A, so that's A minor. So we have D minor, E minor, and A minor. So far we have C, F, G, D minor, E minor, A minor, and I can I can change these chords around. They will always sound good together. So I can be like just fooling around. No matter what I do with any combination of those chords, it will always sound good. Now listen to if I'm gonna add, say, like a B flat in there, like just out of nowhere, because it's not part of the chord family, it doesn't sound like it belongs. Listen. So like it completely changes already from there. See, it sounds like it doesn't belong there, you know? So your major chords, C, F, G, which would be 1, 4, 5. Minor chords are D minor, E minor, A minor, which is your 2, 3, and 6. And the 7 is a special chord, which is a diminished. So we have a diminished chord. Whenever we play diminished chords on ukulele, it's usually half diminished, but don't worry about that. So this B diminished chord, or B half diminished for all of you music theory buffs out there. So it's C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A, B diminished, C. So that's how we figure out all the chords in our in our key. So you can do that with any key that you want. You can do it with G, you can do it with A, you can do it with F. So in G we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would be G, C, D would be the major chords, and it would be A minor, B minor, and E minor for the minor chords, and we would have F sharp diminished for the diminished. So you have okay.
Yeah. And you go over this like very thoroughly in
Ukulele 102.
Ukulele 102. So once you kind of go over that, that's in UU Plus as well. So if you go and take a look at that.
Yep.
But also, in the chat, I put you could also use the circle of fifths. In the resource section on Ukulele Underground, we have a circle of fifths with a chord family overlay. Yeah. And all you have to do is print out both and put them together. And
yourself a little cheat sheet wheel.
Yeah. So pretty much what you do. Do you have it over there, Kahai?
I have I might have a broken one.
Oh, so
I have it right here.
Okay.
And it's it'll get the point across.
Yeah, it's kind of broken,
it's
but
seen it's better days.
Yeah, so all you do is kind of line up the key that you want on the outer circle in the center of the overlay.
See, so this has all the all the chords, the major chords in fifths, because it's a circle of fifths. All the fifths major chords: C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, F, then back to C. And then the bottom has the fifths in minors: D minor, A minor, E minor, B minor, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, G sharp minor, and so on, so forth.
Okay, bring it down.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have all the majors at the top, minors at the bottom. So if you want to figure out a key, for example, you put it right in the middle. So here, let's go back to C. Put it right in the middle there. So here are your major chords, C, F, and G, just like how I explained earlier. Let's pull back a little bit so that it focuses. There it is. And you have D minor, A minor, and E minor as your minor chords. And down here, right here, you have your B diminished. So this, you can change it around. So for example, the key of G, just like how I said earlier, G, C, D are your major chords. You have A minor, B minor, and E minor. and you have an F sharp diminished right here. So you can download this wheel over on the resource page of Ukulele Underground. So make sure to check that out and take advantage. You can make this. This is seen better days, huh? This wheel.
Yep.
This is like one of the first
yeah,
wheel, I think.
we gotta make another one. But all it is we have it on Ukulele Underground as a PDF, so you can just print it out
and make your own.
Yeah, print it out on kind of cardstock, and it'll probably last a little longer than that one.
Yeah, I think
hopefully that answers the question.
And I think Angie, like, she mentioned that she's doing the Essential Chords series. And the thing to not get confused about that series is that those chords aren't all in one key.
Yeah. It's just getting you used to knowing the common chords.
Yeah. And then, like, sometimes we do, or we try to pair them with, like, chords that you might switch to and from a lot. Kind of like more that idea. So more so than teaching you just one key.
Yeah.
I think too, like, you, when you were explaining it, you said like the formula is like 1 4 5 is majors, and 2 3 6 is minors, and then 7th is diminished. So like for like me, like I know that, but like off the top of my head I can't like just recall like what is gonna be major and minor. So like an easier way for me, like how we do the scales, where it's like whole half, whole half, right?
Whole half, yeah.
Is it, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Whole half, yeah.
Like
3.
kind of remembering that, remembering it in like that pattern. I do like, so the first is major, minor, 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 major, major, minor, diminished. So it's like just, and when I think when you like learn scales and you learn the major scales, and then you just write the chords underneath it. Like to me that's way easier than
makes
like
sense. Yeah.
Because I think some people try to like remember every single key, every single chord and everything, and it's like I don't do that.
Well, one of my students that I was teaching, in order for them to like to learn it, they learned it kind of like the same way that you did, like where it's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, where they said it was like big, small, small, big, big, small. If they can remember big, small, small, big, big, small, big, small, small, big, big, small, like they kind of like sang it almost like that makes sense, whatever whatever you gotta do to make yourself remember what it is, it's all good. So big, small, small, big, big, small, diminished.
I think I think later on when you get more used to chord families and everything, then you're like, oh yeah, 1 4 5 those are the majors, and then 2 3. But like when you're first starting off, it really does help to just like lay out everything, see it.
And what I mean by big, small is like the big M and a small m is what it is, because big M means major, small m means minor. So big, small, small, big, big, small, big, small, small, big, big, small.
Yeah.
So that's your chord family. Chord family jingle.
Like for our lessons, like we have to put the key, and I'll ask you, but sometimes like I'll try and figure it out myself. And so like I'll just like write out what chords there are, and then I'll be like, it fits this chord family, and like I have to write out, like I still do just recently we're gonna put out Tequila, right, for like a solo. And like to figure out that like what key that is in, like I was like, okay, B flat, C, D, it's like, it's not, I don't think when you're playing, it's like you get it gets easier, but then it's not something that you kind of have to like know off the top of your head right away and be ready to show it off.
Well, the thing I always tell people that like those 3 chords, the 3 major chords and 3 minor chords are always exclusive to a key. So if you have C, F, G, for example, you're gonna know that you're in a key of C, like the C, F, G are majors, or G, C, D are majors, then you're in the key of G. If F, B flat, C is the major chords, then you're in the key of F. It's a lot of patterns, but the more you do it, the more you'll kind of see these patterns and figure things out and kind of put 2 and 2 together. That's what I've been doing throughout the years, and that's why I can kind of recall them fast. It's because once I see 3, like a group of 3 major chords, I'm like, oh yeah, it's this key. And another advice that I told people that like if you have two chords, or like 2 chords are always going to be one after the other, close to each other. So if one is G and the other one is C, that means it's either gonna be F or it's gonna be D. G C D or C F G.
Renee is asking,
Yes.
so where would the Roman numerals go on the circle of fifths?
Okay,
When you're-
so the Roman numerals. The remember when I was saying big, big, small, big, 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 small, big, big, small, small, big, big, small. That's what it was. The top are the big Roman numerals.
Try
The
to
bottom
bring it
are-
lower.
oh.
Sorry.
The top are the big Roman numerals. The bottom are the small Roman numerals. So this would be 1. This would be 4. And this
No.
would be 5.
Oh yeah.
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 1. I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
1, 4, 5. And then these ones down here. This is the I think this is 2. Oh, what am I pointing to? No, this
No.
sorry.
Yeah.
I have to look at the screen
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do it because I'm like, okay, this one is 2, this one is 3, and this one is 6. Okay, so you see that E minor and F sharp minor, that's like consecutive.
2, 3, yeah.
2 and 3, and then B minor.
And then
And
7.
then G and then the A are consecutive.
And then the 7 is the
Oh yeah,
diminished.
7 is the D flat diminished, which is weird because we have F sharp here. This should be.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
want to
It-
print both
Right,
of
right,
them
right.
on the outside ring. Yeah, you just kind of
Mm.
assume
Yeah,
that
that it's
it's a sharp
Sharp.
if everything else
C
is sharp. Yeah.
C sharp. Because there's no C here, so that's why like the same letter is not found in the same scale twice.
Yeah.
And
So
like
since we have a D here, this is going to be C.
Yeah, sorry podcast listeners.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
This is very a
There's-
visual kind of thing that we're
They learned
talking
about Kauai today, so
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
well, like we pointed towards like the circle of fifths, and we always do that, and
Yeah.
it's like a good resource to have. But then like I can see where it's like if somebody like picks it up,
Mhm.
it's like why is it like not in order, right? Like why
Yeah.
is it like I gotta go to the first is in the middle chord,
Yeah.
and the fourth and the fifth are on the side. And for like that, well, it's like based off of a bigger diagram
Yeah.
called the circle of fifths.
Yeah,
That
big circle, like this thing without the blinders.
Yeah.
basically, the circle without blinders.
so it gives you like every single
Yeah.
thing. But then like if people are getting confused by that, we also have like I think all like major keys or something, like it's written out, right? Like where it's C, D, E, F, G, like and it'll tell you which ones are majors and minors.
Did you went to band? Like, did you have band till you were senior?
Yep.
Did you guys have to memorize the circle of fifths?
Maybe I didn't.
Good answer. Good answer.
Like that's
Maybe.
that's the thing is like I'm so like even
Miss
even-
blank, let's just say, or Miss or Mister. Who knows?
No,
you
no,
know?
no. Like Mike, like
Okay.
Mike Odo, who we've had
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
He had,
Marvelous Mike.
he gave us like tests where he would say like, okay, what is this scale or what is this key, and then you have to play it on your instrument.
Yeah.
And he told me,
Mhm.
and then I was like, can I play it on guitar?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you have to play it on trumpet. Kahai. Trumpet is your instrument. I was like, yeah, but I can play it on guitar. I can't play the like, and it's just knowing that first note, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, play F. I'm like, okay, I can play that scale, easy peasy. But then for like trumpet, I'm like, to recall like what the scale is and then know like where my fingers go. I was like, I'm not that good.
But you know where your fingers go in a box.
Yeah.
You just move
Okay.
that box up and down. You know.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why like I think
Yeah.
like I gravitated towards guitar because it's easier for my brain to get around than like trumpet. And even like trumpet, when somebody's like, oh, so you're a B flat instrument, you have to do this. I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's like, can't I just tune to C? Oh, it's hard.
Yeah, learn the flute then if you
Yeah.
like a concert key.
Something like one last thing that I just wanted to talk about with key or chord families.
Yes.
Something else that confuses people is that they see like sevenths, like you know, G major 7, C minor 7 and stuff, and then they go, well, if there's sevenths, what key is it in? But for that,
that's an extension, yeah. So don't be confused about the 7 that comes afterwards. The 7 that's in the chord is going to be different from the 7 that we're talking about as far as the scale goes. So I mean, not that much different, but in this stage you should separate the two things because they're two different things. We're talking about scale steps, like the 7th step, you know, in the scale, and versus like you have the 7th being added to whatever chord it is already. So that's what they call the extensions, because you have the chord and you're extending it a little bit more. So you already have the chord of C, so C, E, G being your 1, 3, 5, and then 1, 3, 5, 7 would be your C major 7.
Well, like, and I think like just the fact that it's called that confuses people. Like they're not sure, like, what does, that's not like a major, or, you know, that's not clearly a major or minor. And for that, they just have to ignore that, right? Like if it says C major 7, just ignore the 7th.
I mean, it's a major, so it's like
but there is like we've had people who go like, oh, what is this key, or what is this chord family? And it's like you just gotta ignore all the extensions, and you'll find it.
So it's like C major 7, F major 7, and G 7. Like, what key am I in? It's like you just C, F, and G. Just take out all the fancies afterwards. CFG, you're left with CFG, and what is that? Let's go to the wheel. Wow.
Yeah.
Blown out white.
Well, keeping the wheel up, Renee asked like
CFG.
Renee said like so she could label the wheel with Roman numerals.
You could, yeah, but then that defeats the purpose of the wheel, because if you're gonna
rotate it,
you're gonna rotate the wheel, those numbers would change. So those numbers don't stay the same. That's why.
Yeah. So I said you could put like a clear piece of tape over the window and then write on the
tape,
maybe
you can do that,
so that it'll kind of scroll with it. But yeah.
So if you write on it, it'll be good for one key, you know. And in that sense, I would just maybe have like a cheat sheet of all like the
so you could just put a clear piece of tape over the overlay part and then write onto the tape.
Oh yeah. So what Aaron's suggesting, put like a clear tape on top of it and just write on top of that.
Onto the tape,
Onto the tape. So
and
that
then
it doesn't go on the wheel.
That way when the back part scrolls,
it's different.
Yeah.
So the back part that's a good idea. Yeah. So, you know, he said just put like clear tape on top of this, write it on the tape, so that when the back can still spin, and it'll keep it kind of in that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
so
add you still have layer, like the one layer in the center.
Yeah. So have a clear layer. So that's good. See, always innovative. This Aaron Nakamura fella. That's why they pay you the big bucks, man. You guys know he's a bio degree. Yeah. More than anyone else in this room has. Do you have a bio degree, Kahai?
Nope.
Me neither. That's why we're not as smart.
I barely have a high school degree. So.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Mr. Tokita would like to have a word with you about how I barely passed.
Yeah, my counselors are like, You sure you don't want to go to college, Kai? I'm like, I'm sure it'll work out, you know. Okay.
You know what's like the worst thing that they say sometimes? Like, you know, I know you're a smart guy, but it's like,
just not applying yourself.
Yeah, it's not applying yourself. I was like, no, I am.
Yeah, I know I'm a smart guy too.
I'm applying myself to ukulele instead of
actual
school.
Life.
Yeah.
Who else is gonna beat all the levels of this video game?
Yeah, you know. Final Fantasy 15 only comes once.
Not gonna beat it
2016.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. Sorry, we got derailed.
So Lisa said, whether it be $100 uke or a bank breaker uke, is there a maintenance routine we should get into to take care of our instrument?
Yes, yeah. I would. You know, it doesn't matter if it's $100 uke or break the bank kind of uke. I would kind of always have like good kind of strings on it, you know, like if the strings feel a little bit dead, I would kind of change it. I would keep the fretboards nice and clean, because it can get, you know, build up. It doesn't matter how expensive your ukulele is, it's going to get dirty, you know. So I would kind of just wipe down the frets. I should follow my own rules, but you know, a friend of mine told me that like Chris Salvador, before he puts it in his case, he always like wipes it down. Like he always wipes it down first, puts it back in the case. So when he takes it out, he does, you know, it's good and it's ready to go. That's a good habit to, you know, to practice regardless of what kind of instrument you have. Keeping a nice like microfiber cloth inside your case, maybe just like on top of the strings or something, you know, keeps it from ruining your case as well, because sometimes, you know, the case goes on top. Here, I'll show you as an example. This is my case right here, and it's like dirty from my dirty strings. So I'm gonna show you folks my ukulele case. So is it close? Oh, come on, Guerrero. So see that right there?
It's
that
dirty.
It's super dirty. See that right there? It's super dirty. I could have prevented that by putting a microfiber cloth on top of the thing, so when I closed it, whatever's touching the case is not going to make it dirty. I could have also prevented that by just wiping down my fretboard and not having a dirty fretboard touching my case. So, yeah, that's it. Oh, that's a little inside peek at Aldrine Guerrero's case. It's a nice crushed velvet. Ooh, is that velvet? What is that, velvet? Points for those people who caught the reference.
Yeah, I mean, usually whenever you restring your ukulele, that's kind of a good time to
wipe it down. But if you
clean
have
up your fretboard, and
if you play as much as I do, sometimes like, you know, oil from your fingers or anything like that will pretty much go on your ukulele fretboard. So those are just like minor things. Change strings. Make sure that the fretboard is clean, because that's the thing that'll get dirty the most. Another place that kind of gets dirty the most is right here. That's where you rest your arms. Doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna get sweaty, or you're putting whatever oils from your skin on top of the wood. So just to wipe this down right here would be pretty good. So my best advice: invest in a good microfiber cloth. They're not that expensive, maybe like $10 for a really good one or something. They're $15 for a really good one, and just always have it with you. Always just wipe it down if you want to keep your ukulele nice and clean.
What was that pen that you got from Nam?
It is called Boogie Juice.
Yeah,
it's right there. Oh, right there. Yeah, it's called Boogie Juice. Hashtag not an ad. So this is not an ad for Boogie Juice, but I do like this. I have one of these pens on inside my case, and this is a pen from my desk right there. So I like to keep it nice and clean. What you do is you take this, and it's just like it's like a pen, and you can go and clean up like the fretboards. You can get in between. Where it gets really dirty is right on the fret wires, because it just kind of sticks to the middle part of the fret wire, and you can just get in between that using the pen. And it's the guy who made it says it's made with natural things, natural ingredients. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and like I think Dunlop has like fretboard oil. And
then, is it the fast fret?
Or there is fast fret, but I think they have like a special like just fretboard oil. And then there's also one that I use is F1 oil, which they said that they don't use lemon oil because lemon oil can like break down.
Yeah, some people say that. Stuff. Yeah. I think the fast fret, I don't know if you guys know this, but fast fret kind of just puts a little thing on your strings so that you can glide faster.
Yeah,
but
it's more for steel string.
Yeah, I mean you can still use it for nylon.
Yeah,
but it says on the thing that like it keeps your fretboard clean, but I think it just kind of makes it gunky. Like it adds the oil on there and it sticks to your fretboard and makes it gunky. I don't know. Yeah. I used to like it, and then I'm like, what's all this gunk? It's probably from the fast fret.
Yeah. So like Jack was saying, like that the Dunlop fretboard 65 is lemon oil. That one is lemon oil, and then there's like another brand called F1 that is. They said that and they avoid it, and if you're really worried about like your ukulele and what will affect it, you can like try and look for the fretboard, like what the fretboard is made out of.
Yeah.
And usually those oils too will give recommendations like, oh, it's good for.
Yeah. Also, you gotta think about what finish your fretboard has, because it has a little bit of finish on top of it. It's not just bare wood. So figure out what goes well with the materials of your ukulele. With mine, I have ebony fretboards, so it's pretty hard and it doesn't really corrode all too much. I just put whatever on top of it. I just put boogie juice. It's all good.
Something too that we recommend is like humidifiers, right? Like if you live
that's another thing. Yeah.
If you live in some place where it's really dry, get a humidifier. And then if you live in some place that's super humid, like consider
silica gel.
Yeah. Like you want it balanced. And then there's humidifiers that will tell you like what the humidity level is and what's the best one.
Some fancy schmancy cases that'll do that for you too. So if you really want to take care of your ukulele, it doesn't have to be like thousands of dollars. You could have maybe spent like a couple $100, and for some people a couple $100, that's like an investment worth protecting, So if if you do want to take care of your ukulele, these are some minor things that you can do to make sure that your ukulele stays in good shape.
We have a Uke Minutes where you showed how to make a humidifier out of a Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
So even that's like what like
whose idea that was? Mr. Bio Major over here. See, we gotta get degrees, Kai. We gotta get that paper.
Bio degrees.
What's better than bio degrees? So we can one up Aaron Nakamura. So when we come, we're like, hey, we know things and blah 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 blah, and then we can provide the answer.
Maybe I should, because like maybe I'll be a better video editor. Like as good.
We won't pay you anymore, but it'll be nice. You can hang it on your desk.
I should just print one of my own and like frame it, hang it by my desk.
Yeah, maybe like an engineering. I heard the word engineering used before. Engineering and degree put together. And maybe we should get one of those. I've heard the word masters. Is that hard? You should get one of those.
I can print it and then sign it myself, right?
I want to be someone who drives trains.
Okay.
I got
a degree.
I have Photoshop. I can do that.
Yeah. In all seriousness, though, I think we should get degrees. Like I don't know what to do after ukulele on the ground. Because I was like, where's your degree, sir? I'll be right back.
Can I use your photocopier?
Okay. Anyway, next question.
Jack said, thoughts on loosening the string if you're not playing a particular uke or if you're traveling.
If you're traveling, the plane is pressurized, for your convenience, is what they say, and it should not. Now the whole plane is pressurized, so that means if you check in your luggage or whatever, if you have your ukulele and you put it in a trustworthy case, and you check it in, so just because it's it's gonna go in the bottom of the plane and it's not in the in the main cabin, it's not gonna be pressurized. It still is, that's I have pilot friends that that have kind of given me the rundown. The whole thing is pressurized. Don't worry about that. It might, if you are paranoid about it, maybe just tune it down like a step or two. I wouldn't really go full on low. And the ukulele doesn't really have that much tension in it anyway, so if there is pressure, then like a nylon string ukulele doesn't do too much damage. And even like I've checked in ukuleles before. I've had people like Kanile. I've traveled with Kanile. They've had boxes and boxes of their ukuleles that they've sent over to like Asia whenever they're doing a festival. They've had boxes and boxes that they've checked in and stuff, and they got it back. No damage, no nothing. So but if you're playing say like a guitar that has steel strings, the tension might be a little bit more than than ukulele. I would slack it just a little bit, but for the most part with ukuleles, there's no need to.
I think, or like for the contest that we just did, we sent out ukes, and then I like just for best practice, like I just slacked it like a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's usually like if you order a uke online, you'll get a uke with slack strings or not in tune, right? And yeah, that's just it's probably nothing will happen, but just don't want to. We want to.
Yeah, another thing too is because if you're gonna go from one place to another, you want that ukulele or instrument to acclimate to whatever weather that is going to go to. So if if we strung it up here, it's going to be different than if you string it up to where you're at. So if you're a place where it gets colder, for example, the strings are going to react a different way as soon as you open up that box. Then it reacted here when we strung it. So you're like, hey, I thought you guys strung it up and and tuned it and stuff. Why does it sound like this? It's because it was probably strung before it was sent out. So that's why usually you don't you slack the strings when you send stuff out to somebody that you're not really familiar with how the humidity levels are or how the weather is, and it's just good practice to slack the strings when you're sending things. But when you're traveling in a plane, it's not going to be up in the air for that long, max 8 hours or something, so not too bad.
Yeah, it's like you said, right? Like if you're worried or you just don't, if you want to err on the side of caution, just slack it like a little bit.
Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be that much. So if just for peace of mind, I guess.
Yeah. And even when he was talking about storage too, right? If I would say if it's like a vintage instrument and you're not gonna be playing it for a long time, then slack it.
Yeah, it's only I do slack my inactive ukuleles. So I have a lot of ukuleles at home, and if I'm not playing them like on a regular basis, I do slack them. And it's because of that. Like it's just constant tension, and you're not playing it, you're not releasing the tension at all. It's just one constant tension being pulling on your ukulele, and that's why a lot of old ukuleles that weren't either glued as good or braced as good as they do now. This right here was the bridge usually pops out and stuff because of the tension.
Or sometimes there's like bowing,
warping, any sort of damage that way. It's because people don't slack their strings and just keep it in the case, and has been slacked for unslacked for a long time, and they open up their case and
that's like
surprise.
Bowing too also happens if you is it like over humidify or under humidify, like
it can be both,
yeah, and like it just like because if you don't have it and then you like leave it in a case, it's just it's kind of gonna like deteriorate over time.
Right. And if you do want to have your ukuleles strung up all the time, I would suggest like a good humidifier, making sure that everything is all good in there. And some people create humidity rooms, they keep their guitars and vintage instruments and stuff, ukuleles in that room, and it should stay safe if you control it that good or that well.
With my new bass that I just bought from the music shop down the road, even them, they said oh yeah, it'll take a month just going from the music shop, which is AC, right? Yeah. And it's pretty well controlled, to my own house. Yeah, it'll take a month for it to acclimate and get set to how your house is. So that's all. If you buy an instrument too, at first, I mean, if it has major defects, then you probably want to contact the whoever sold it to you. But if it's something where it's it kind of seems a little weird, it might just be it's getting used to the new environment.
Weather and stuff like that, and temperature is very tricky. We mentioned on the podcast here, we were over in Eugene in Oregon, and Jake had one of the the tone right on his, remember we went to his tour bus on his ukulele, and he was saying it kind of helps the wood breathe because it's it's very cold. The fibers of the wood will tend to kind of tense up and stuff, and using the tone right on it kind of releases any of the tightness on the ukulele. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just
says. Remember that
wait,
I had to mention it with these ones. I was we've gone 44 minutes without mentioning Jake once.
Remember the first, was it the first tour that we went on and you thought a mouse was eating your finger?
Yeah. Okay, that's a story. Okay, so the first tour that we went on, we went to NorCal, and it was very cold, and I had not gone to the mainland before. I don't know how cold it gets, and I didn't know how how ukes react to the cold. So when it's cold, the sometimes
not humid. It was very dry.
It's very dry. So sometimes the wood can actually shrink. Your ukulele can shrink by we're talking very very little. It's not like you're gonna go with a tenor and then all of a sudden you come home with like a with a concert ukulele. It's not like that. It is very very tiny. So it shrank. My ukulele shrank. I was using Kamaka. Not saying that it was Kamaka's fault or whatever, but I was using a Kamaka ukulele then, and we were playing. We had gigs like every day that tour, and for some reason I would like wake up the next morning and like my fingers like had like kind of scratches on them, like, and I thought like someone like a mouse or something was like biting my fingers. Like it looked like something was like biting my fingers, but what it was is because my fretboard shrank a little bit, but the fret wires are made of metal, so it's not wood, it's not going to shrink. So the fret wire stayed the same, but the fretboard shrank, therefore like exposing a little bit more
just on the edges of
the edges of the fretboard. So like I'm doing all this fancy schmancy ukulele playing, and I'm sliding my fingers up, and like the the exposed fret wires were just like gnawing away basically, like a little mouse was like biting away at my fingers, and I was like, what is going on? And like my fingers were bleeding, like I bled like that first tour, like and so people say I had blood, sweat, and tears like on that first tour. I did, and I cried because they were out of in San Francisco. No, they didn't have choco tacos.
So when did you figure out that like what was happening? That it was like your
I was I just kind of took a closer look. I'm like, there's something like it's not here, and I went like this, and I'm like, oh, that's the that's the culprit.
Feel it
basically. You can feel it. And I was like, and I think I went to you guys. I'm like, can you feel this? Like, is it? Yeah. I was like, does this feel different? And they're like, oh yeah, it is.
It's kind of. It was like a little sharp edges.
Yeah, kinda. It's very, very, very little.
Yeah. That especially makes sense with like a Kamaka, right? Mm-hmm. Because like they make it here, so they probably like they make it perfect to this setting. Yeah. So then when you bring it someplace else, it's like, oh, it's a little
right. I mean, it's rosewood. It should be like a hardwood, but I don't know what happened. Now, like I have all my fretboards made exclusively with ebony, because ebony is even harder than rosewood, and it shouldn't do that. But yeah, so just as a word of caution, cold makes the fibers like tense up, and because of that, it might shrink the wood a little bit.
Yeah, that probably had to do with humidity too.
Yeah,
it's like
dry. I just dried it out. Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure like people who listen to this or who watch it would already know, but like that's also something to take into consideration, right? Is like, don't leave your uke in like a hot car or.
I should heed that my own advice. But like maybe you could say that, but I can't come from me. Yeah. I agree, but I can't tell people that.
Or like, just be careful where it is. Like if it's really cold or really hot, instruments get affected by that too.
Yes, so. I agree. I'm terrible. Like I don't know. I'm lazy at like unloading my car. Like I just don't like unloading things from my car, because like. Back then I used to play like Wednesdays and Fridays, so like I would play it Wednesdays, and I have to unload my car and like load it back up again, like like the next day or the day after. And it's just like, man, wouldn't it be cool to just leave my stuff in the car? And I did that, and I've never gone back since.
And it was cool.
Don't.
Speaking from experience,
that's the worst way to treat your instruments.
I feel like that's also a part of the argument or like the discussion. Is that people say like you should always put it back in the case when you're not using it, and you want to do all these things to make sure. But then it's also like, if you do that, it's kind of hard to enjoy or it makes it more of a hassle to open it up, take it out, play it. And like if you're gonna put it back, it's like, oh, I gotta do all of these things before I put it back.
That's why you need a beater, ukulele, and then one that you're gonna play on stage.
Yeah. I actually got caught by by Joe Souza one of the days that I went in. I remember I recorded. It was the time when I recorded for Fulati Pad, because I was featured in Fulati Pad's album, and I went and I did my recording session in Blue Planet. And then I went to Ukulele afterwards. So I had a rent-a-car, and I had my uke. And I just wanted to say hi, like, I didn't need whatever. It's like, so Joe was like, oh hey, nice of you to come by and stuff. Like, wow, where's your uke? I was like, oh, because he knew that I came and recorded, and he knew I had a uke somewhere. He's like, oh, where's your uke? I'm like, oh, it's in the car. He's like, oh, like, just like you left it in the car, like just. I'm like, oh no, I mean I was gonna get it after. I just want to say, I just wanted to do a quick hi. He's like, do you often leave your uke in the car? I'm like, no, not at all.
Of course not.
Of course not. No, who would that? The travesty.
Do you leave your baby in the car?
Yeah.
Lock the windows?
Yeah, I don't know if. I mean, how low are the windows? Like, how cracked open are the windows?
Yeah. So Alan just said, Kahai, you're just spoiled. I have to do that all the time, in and out of the case to keep it from drying out too much.
He's in Denver though.
Yeah. It kind of. Well, I have a guitar rack, and I have like 7 of my guitars just sitting out.
I need that. I need like a. We went to Deech's house and we saw like his trough, like his music trough. So, he just had like ukes like in this box. So I want one of those. I should pick up, or maybe I should just commission somebody to do it. I'm not about to do any woodworking. I'll risk it.
Yeah, but over here, like, I've never experienced like a dry instrument, right? Like, I don't think, if anything, it's gonna be too humid.
Yeah.
So.
This past weekend was 100% humidity. It was insane.
Yeah, or like Aaron's computer like kind of broke recently, and we're like suspecting it might have been the humidity too. It's
shorting
that darn
out all
humidity.
Kinds of things.
Yep. Could have turned it on if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
Okay. Was it what? Do you remember what song it was? Fulare Pad.
The one that you're featuring.
Yeah, it's called something friends.
All my friends.
All my friends. Yeah, all my friends.
Got it.
All my friendos.
Was there other people on there?
I remember.
Yeah, it was,
I remember when we played when we played it with them. Yeah. It was titled "All My Friend."
All my friend.
Yeah.
All my friend.
All of my singular friend.
I forgot how to play it already. That's a great song. I love that whole album. I think it's called like Otomenashi or like whatever the album's called. Great album. And if you guys know, I've never heard of Fulare Pad. Omotenashi. Yeah. If you guys never heard of Fulare Pad, check them out. Like, just these kids can make melody. Like, I love me some like ukulele playing ukulele solos with great melody. Japanese people are like melody crazy. I love it. I love like Ryo Saito's got some great stuff. Like Ryo, what's his last name? Natoyama. Like, just amazing writers and stuff. I love ukulele players with good melody.
I'm like dying over here because like you said, like Japanese people just love melody, and Aaron very subtly went like and like, yeah, the guy with Nakamura should be answering that way.
No, I mean like it's actually we mentioned Ryo last week too. So
Saito.
So we're giving you some recommendations.
Yeah, some good uke players.
For
so
some
Ryo,
Japanese ukulele
over the
music.
sea.
Yeah.
So RYO
So
and NATOYAMA, and then Ryo's RIO SAITO, Ryo Saito, and Fulare Pad is FULARE _pad PAD. Yeah, there's an underscore in there, I think, right? Fulare _pad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we've toured Japan with them. Cool dudes, coolest guys ever. I love those guys. So it's a long shot, but hey, shout out to Fulare Pad. They're awesome, and shout out to Fumi and Noguchi-san.
If you're watching
the whole Tomorrow House people, they're awesome.
If you're watching the replay or you're listening to the replay on the site, we should have like links to most of the stuff. Like Kira's really good about getting links to like all of the different things that we mentioned down below. So
yeah. Fulare Pad, Omotenashi. Yeah, it's if you guys like Kale Gamiao, he's also on that track. So it's me, Kale, and Fulare Pad.
But you're the friend that they're referencing.
All my friend.
All my friend.
And then in
my friendo.
In like in parentheses or in quotations, it's like Aldrine.
Just Aldrine. Just not Kale.
Totally not Kale.
Calais got me out.
Yeah. We gotta get Kauai on here because we kind of rag on
him so much. Oh my god, we do.
I should get a sound effect for every time we mention Kauai too.
But see, it's always good. Whenever we mention Calais, it's always good. It's like never a bad thing.
Let me.
I've never said a word about his V-neck shirts.
Oh dang!
See, or his constant selfies on Instagram. Never once mentioned any of those two things.
Should this be the sound effect that we use for every time we mention Clay? Let me
here.
Oh,
Clay's cool, man. I love him. I love him. Just his selfies with his V-neck shirts and his tight vests. Totally.
Calais is gonna come out with a YouTube video and be like, guys.
Only because it just looks so uncomfortable. If you guys have ever seen me on stage, I like a lot of loose clothing. I wear loose shirts. I have the what is it called? The plaid whatever on top of it. It's all loose. I wear pants that are 2 sizes over. I'm from the 90s, guys. I like loose clothing. Every now and then I'll wear some.
So you can't imagine yourself wearing a vest.
Yeah, I can't imagine myself wearing a really tight vest. I feel like he needs a. So that's just me gonna sounds like a talking crap about Calais, but yeah, it seems like he needs to hire a helper to because he's gotta raise your arms and somebody's gotta put the vest on him, or it's like Vader. You ever seen the episode 3 where the mask just kind of comes down on Vader and then it closes as a no scene. So I imagine it like that where Clay's getting ready for a gig and he just and this magical vest just comes down and it goes on top of him. I don't even think he wears vests anymore, but I saw him recently on Hawaii, was it High Sessions? And he's wearing the tightest Aloha shirt. Man, he's a buff guy. That's why I was man, he's gonna Hulk out of that shirt soon. A lot of girls are gonna get turned on.
I think.
Watch out.
Well, I think when we had him do the master class or something, right? Every time there's a cut, it's oh, Calais, how's those muscles? Come on, show those muscles, guy.
Yeah, no, we need views, Calais. We need views. Open up a button or two, we need views. Guys get paid.
Yep. And it's not gonna be for me showing my muscles. Okay. So yep. Billy says that his uke has, I guess, shrunk, and it does have sharp edges. Yeah. Is that something he should get fixed? Look to get fixed?
Try controlling the humidity first. Get a humidity check. What do you call those things? There's a word for it. Yeah.
Oh, just the
thing that checks the humidity. What is it called?
I don't know.
Not a humidifier.
Sometimes it's
it's a word.
I feel sometimes they call that a humidifier too, or it's just built into the same thing.
Yeah, so I think there's a thing. Yeah.
So I think if you look for humidifier or look for that kind of stuff, you'll find it.
He says he has a humidifier in his case, though.
Yeah, but you gotta check the humidity because sometimes if the humidity is already pretty good or it's a little bit over and you add more humidity with a humidifier, it'll just make it more humid. So check the level on it and make sure that it's at 60%. That's what the instrument's like.
If you're humidifying your case too, I mean I don't think I've heard of this, but there's also instrument humidifiers where you put the humidifier directly into the sound hole.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting enough, you can try one of those instead.
Yeah.
Well, Alan said hydrometer.
Hydrometer, that's what that's it's not humidifier, it's something. Hydrometer.
Alan has a degree too.
Yeah, Alan's got one of them engineering degrees that I've heard about. Your masters. Yeah, so make sure that it's it's at a good, I think 60. I think that's the magic, that's the magic number for instruments. And if not, I would get somebody to take a look at it. If you're really concerned, I would get somebody to take a look at it. But sometimes the companies just don't finish off the bottom part of the fretboard, and sometimes it just gets built that way. So it's not, sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with humidity or weather and stuff. Sometimes it's just
that's
it looks like Billy said it's at about 40% right now. So
that's not bad.
So yeah, if you can get anywhere
50,
anywhere like 40% would be like the low end.
Yeah.
So 40 to 60 is a really good range.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's not that then, because that's not that low. Like 40% not that bad.
Well, yeah, if you can get like 45, 55.
Yeah, I would put there. More.
Or it might be a little better.
So get one of those ones that like the Oasis ones that goes inside your ukulele. That like I've found that's a lot more helpful than the clay one that you leave in the case.
Or if it's always been sharp, right? Like if your fretboard has always felt sharp, it might just be that
a build.
Yeah, and they didn't. That's like one of those.
Built in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, like that's one of those details too, right? Like that they kind of like a lot of companies might overlook too and stuff.
So if you are concerned about it, and if it turns into a problem, and if it's like one of the pricier ukuleles, you want to save it and stuff, bring it up to your music store and say, hey, like this and blah 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 blah. Maybe you can just like kind of buff it out, because sometimes people can just buff it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can get kind of acclimated to whatever situation that you're in.
Well, we always suggest is bring it to a professional, right?
Yeah.
Like, or I mean, if you really want to try, you can try it, but
no, I would.
There's so many things that could go wrong.
Yeah. There are certain tools that they use for fret finishing that can really make your frets look really nice too. Yeah. So if you want to do something like that, if it's still a problem even after you have humidified it.
Okay, we have like 2 more questions.
Sure. Lightning round.
So he said, I've really enjoyed the Essential Chords course.
Yes.
This is more of a suggestion, but could you do a similar exercise for practicing hammer-ons and pull-offs?
Okay, we can get right on that. I think we did some hammer-ons and pull-off exercises for Ukulele 101, I believe. So if you want to check those out, but I do get what you mean. So if, maybe down the line I can do like a technique kind of getting better with technique. That's a good idea. So I'll keep it in mind. But for now, because if we do it, it's probably not going to be out for another year, for like a year. Even if we get started on tomorrow, I would check out Ukulele 101. I think Ukulele 101 has some practice with hammer-ons, pull-offs.
Yeah, and then we give homework for those lessons too. Like
that's what I'm talking about. The exercises.
Yeah, and then like for 102, like I don't think we go into hammer-ons really, but then we give we do have extra exercises, exercise videos, and everything else too. So that
either 101 or 102. Is it 102 with all the techniques and stuff?
102 is where we filmed extra exercise videos, and then they could play along with you, right? 101 is where we kind of just suggested homework that they can do and send them to us. Yeah, those are good places though.
Okay. Last question.
I think it was Angie. Who asked, what festivals are you guys doing?
This year we are doing the Auburn Ukulele Festival all the way in Auburn and NorCal, and we're also doing the Uktoberfest in San Francisco. That's also in NorCal. Sorry for anybody else in any states or any cities and stuff that would like to see us. I apologize this year. I tend to kind of I wanted to cut it short, and I didn't really want to do too much stuff because my daughter was born. I don't really want to miss too many things. I missed her crawling. She crawled on Tuesday, and I was gone on Tuesday. Next thing I know, Heather sends me this video, and she crawled to Heather. I'm like, what the heck? I leave her one day, and she crawled.
No pancakes.
I know.
No baby crawling.
That's a different story. No souffle pancakes at all. What the heck, cream pie?
Whole day ruined.
I know, my whole day ruined. Good thing the recording session went well.
You gotta get her to start making you fluffy pancakes. So it's like you combine.
My daughter make me fluffy pancakes.
Yep.
But yeah,
just those 2 for now. 2 festivals.
Yeah, that's basically it. Not that I can think of. Just those 2. But next year, hopefully, I can come back swinging and stuff. I have some projects that I'm kind of working on right now that hopefully will fruit some good stuff.
Yeah, and when people ask if we're gonna go to a festival or something, that's usually they have to ask you, the festival organizers. Contact you, right?
If you guys know of any festivals in your area that you'd like to see us at, just let them know about us. Maybe they can contact us and we can work something out, and we might be able to come to wherever you are.
Yeah. Crystal asked, "Are you guys still critiquing homework that is turned in? I never bothered to submit any homework because I wasn't sure if it was still reviewed."
You can. I think if not one of us, because I've like it takes a little bit for me, but I do it in bulk. Like when I do review homework, I'll just review as much homework that I see.
Like
on
3 or 4
Plus.
people.
Yeah, on UU Plus that forums that I see. So you can. If not, then the best way to contact me directly is to click that green button, and that'll reach to me, and you can just send me your homework there or whatever. You can click on that. And also, if you guys have any questions that you guys want to submit for Thursday live lesson, you can always email to questions@ukuleleunderground.com, or you can post your questions and videos over to the UU Plus forums, and we kind of skim through those and answer them on the show.
We do one-on-one coaching, which is really good because it's like direct feedback too.
Yeah, that too.
But if I know a lot of people can't join during one-on-one and or they're not really sure. They can also send us like clips and videos or like pictures of what they want us to check out, and then we can review it here on live lesson, and they can watch the replay.
Tech checks. I mean, I know
we
some
used to
sites they have you're allowed 2 tech checks a month. And it's like, here at Ukulele Underground, just send as much as you want. We could be on video for 30-45 minutes if you want, So please take advantage of all the of all these things on UU Plus, and we'll help you be the uke player you want to be.
Yeah, I think how we talk about it too, right? You can get a private lesson for $50. Yeah, some people are charging that much. But if you join one-on-one or if you do tech checks or anything here, it's just included with UU Plus.
Somewhat professional, teaching people. I think I know a thing or two.
Well,
so
we'll tell you some things.
We'll tell you good things, I guess. We won't be like, hey, no.
We do a good compliment sandwich, right? That's what we used to do.
You did this pretty good, but you need a little bit work on this. But you did this good.
Yep.
Okay, so that about does it for this edition of Thursday Live Lessons. I think in a couple weeks we'll try to bring Mike back. Either 2 or 3 weeks we'll bring Mike back. So if you guys have any music theory related questions, we'll direct it over to Magic Mike Odo, and he will be with us in just a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, whenever he clears up his schedule to join us. All right, so without further ado, we'll see you folks next time. Have a great one. Stick around for Songs Made Easy and also for one-on-one coaching here on Ukulele Underground. Have a great one. Aloha.